What's up, everybody? I'm sorry, it's your girl Kiwan, and I am back with Ready to Love, Season 11, Episode 10, Detroit Getaway Part 2. Before I start, y'all make sure you like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell button so you can be updated on every video I drop. Make sure y'all like the video so I can stay in the algorithm. Yeah, and let me apologize for getting Ready to Love out so late. So my apologies. So the episode starts, we're picking back up with the eliminations with the men. So the men, when we start with Cardi. Cardi is feeling Ashley and Dom. Bello is feeling Ashanti and Dom. Darius is feeling Ashley. Vince is feeling Donna. Steven is also feeling Donna. So we get to the people that they're not feeling. Bello, Darius, and Steven aren't feeling Shannon. Vince and Cardi aren't feeling Lauren. Also, Bello says Lauren has confused energy, and he feel like the ranking doesn't make sense. And I'm like, why doesn't it? Because it matters. It matters in this situation. I feel like Bello is full of shit. It absolutely matters in this situation, because not only did you come here with Dom, you and Dom may have shared a room, which is why Lauren had questions and she wants to know. But for me, with Lauren, you already see he have a connection with Dom, and a high connection, may I add. But again, I'm thinking that what Bello is saying to the ladies, it's not showing up in his actions. The only person he's showing true actions to is Dom. Like, come on, y'all. Come on. Like, we not finna do this. We not finna do this. And then it's almost towards the end of the season, and you still talking about how ranking doesn't make sense. It absolutely makes sense. Please get out of my face with this. So then we get to the decision. I guess my question, Shannon has to go home. And Shannon went from being one of the top leading ladies to now she's like a sister to all of the men. Shannon goes home and she's actually crying. And the ladies are crying too because they feel bad. Steven goes out to talk with Shannon after he said she's not, basically he understood that Shannon wasn't here for games. She's here for real. But you knew that. You knew she was serious, but I don't know. When it just felt like that moment she interrupted you and Donna making a connection or having a conversation, you took that and made that the end all be all for Shannon. And you want to go out there and hug her? Sir, you wouldn't touch me with a 10-foot pole with your cute self, but So now the ladies are in charge this week, all right? So now they're taking the men they're going out on dates with men who they feel like who didn't level up as much, but feel like they can do a whole lot better before, because this is the last date before, we get down to we get to the end, because we're at the end of this. So Lauren asked Steven, is he happy to see her? She feels like she don't want to be anybody's second choice. And she feels like that his actions doesn't align with what he's saying. Again, I've been talking about Steven. Now, I will say this. Lauren, I do follow Lauren's podcast on Instagram, and it's called The Lounge something, y'all. I haven't listened to it based on, I want to go look at it week by week. But the only reason I haven't had a chance to just go in and listen was because I have to do my reviews and I try to remain neutral, which is another thing I don't do. I when I do listen to other people reviews, I'll be like, okay, I really want to listen today, but I don't listen to anybody reviews until I do my own. I want to be, I don't want to be clouded with other people's things. But there are times where I very seldom listen to somebody review and be like, oh, okay, I'm not going to say that, but I get what they saying. So I don't know why I just said all that. All I'm saying is I don't listen to everyone. So when y'all get a review from me, of course, it is always unedited and is always my purest thoughts. So yeah. And then drop down what y'all think in a comment section. Okay. And I appreciate y'all because y'all been showing out in the comment section on a lot of my videos. So thank you. Anyway. So Lauren is having, I want to say she had dinner with, no. We are still on the trip. So Lauren is sitting at the bar talking with Bello, and Dom walks in and she sits at the table right across, and she just sitting there like this, looking at her phone. And I felt like that was you saying, I know you sitting over there talking to her, but I know you see me over here. And so Bello, he was still talking to Lauren, but all of his attention went over here to Dominique. And I'm just like, just tell Lauren you're not feeling her like that and go right over here with Dominique and let that be that. Like, ugh. I don't know, but it felt like Miss Dom just wanted some fever with Lauren, and I didn't like it. I do not like when these ladies get on here and get the piping up and acting real crazy or whatever, or just, I get that we disagree, and that's one thing, but all of this extra stuff, yeah, no ma'am, because 9 times out of 10 y'all gonna make it to the bridge, and by the time this damn reunion come, y'all ain't gonna be nothing, because you probably done hooked up with the other person who left episode 1. I'm just saying, that's what y'all typically do. So we get the succulents plant. I don't know, we gonna call it the succulent plant. Okay, so Stephen had everybody paint their plant, paint the plant pot and give it to their person. So Bello gives his to Dom, of course. Dom gives hers to Bello, which everybody understand that is the connection right there. I don't know if you have any more questions, but there are no more questions because this is what it is. Lauren gives hers to Steven. Cardi gives his to Ashanti. Ashanti to Cardi. Darius to Ashley. Ashley to Darius. And I will stop and say this. She put I love you, Mom, which was really nice. And because, Darius did speak highly of his mom, and his mom did pass away. So she wanted to do that to honor, him and his mom. And so he was like, I was touched. I was emotional on the inside, but I didn't want the tears to come out. And I'm like, okay, Darius. But it was a nice thought. So Vince gives his to Donna. And Steven gives his to Lauren. Shannon. Well, Shannon left. The way, if I didn't have Shannon's name on there, I would have been like, well, I'm going to give this to Donna. Sorry. That would have been trifling, though. But he gave his to Lauren, Shannon, and Ashanti, but nothing for Donna. And so I was just looking like Lauren, Shannon, and Ashanti got their plan, but no plan for Donna. Shout out to Kim Zodiac Raggedy Ass. My name is on the list, but Nene's is. I'm sorry, y'all. This is sorry. Next day. This is where everybody have their final dates with the guys that they felt like needed to step it up a notch. So Darius tell Ashley he hasn't lied to her since they met. And I was like, oh my God, this is kind of rich with all of these things that have come out on Mr. Darius. Like the alleged things that have came out about him. I don't know if they or to be true. I'm just saying things are now, out there. So it's kind of odd. She said, I guess she wanted more from him, get to know him a little more, because she wants to know more, more of the vulnerable side of who he really is, and less of the debonair, suave, that side. Like, let me know who you are to the core. But I guess, y'all, so everybody's getting ready to leave. No, they didn't go on a date. I'm sorry. I keep skipping to that part. They were still at the cabin. And now everybody's leaving the cabin. Okay? So now we get to these different dates that everybody wanted there. The person that's in the place 2 or whatever, to kind of redeem themselves just a little more, to see if they're number 1 spot worthy. Okay? So we get Lauren and Vince. She felt like that they need to talk. Lauren's friends both are expecting an apology. I don't understand why. But all is forgiven. And Vince is going to go with it because, the women are in charge. I don't want to, I'm just going to play the game. And he could be. I felt like Vince was really genuine in his apology and who he is. And I will say this. I looked at Vince and I judged him. I was wrong. I actually like Vince. I liked who I just didn't like when they said he called Lauren out of her name. That I could never respect. Ever. Not ever in his lifetime. Lauren thinks that Vince has excellent character and he stand up for those that, he care about. I do. I like Vince a little bit. All right. A little bit more than what I did. So then Dom and Cardi. She said her and Cardi connection went flat. Girl, you wanted that connection to go flat because it seems as though the only person you gave time and attention to was Bello, and you have made it very clear without saying it with your mouth. Like, get out of my face, Dominique, because you coming out here talking about, they need to be about me, but you over here only about him, and you have used these men as placeholders. Now, sis, I'm not mad at you for it. I'm just telling you what you have done and what I have seen. Okay? I could be wrong, but I mean, I feel like you had these other boys on standby, because I feel like you'll never give a Cardi or what's that other one that left, Devon? You would never give them the time of the day. I'm just saying, on a regular day, you wouldn't give them the time of the day because they are not your. But they'll go for you. Anyway, Ashanti meets with Bello. She tells him that it's been different because he's been connecting with Dom. Everybody sees the connection that he has with Dom, and everybody sees the connection that Dom has with them. So why are we putting our eggs in y'all basket when y'all putting y'all eggs in each other's baskets? Whoo, child, y'all just making my little head hurt, okay? I ain't gonna lie though. This season been keeping me on my toes. It's been low key good. It's been good. So Dom said to Cardi, he should have, you can save your shoulda, woulda, couldas, but because you didn't make a connection with her on that trip. And I'm just like, ma'am, again, you have made it clear that Bello was your connection, and the way you came to the table when Bello was talking to Lauren, it was just kind of like, again, I know you talking to her, but I know you see me right here. Okay, you need to go ahead and wrap that conversation up. That's what I felt like you gave. But whatever. That goes into my next question. But I'm a hold my applause, and that mean I'm just mean y'all. I'm not even gonna say what I want to say and what I usually say. But I'm gonna go ahead and say it because it's my channel. Damn it! Did y'all hunch? Okay, that's all. That's all the people want to know. And when I say that's all the people want to know, I mean me. Anyway, you came on this trip with Bello. You shared a room with Bello. So, girl, anything any man tried, it just wasn't gonna work. Okay. So then we get to the ladies' lounge. We get these connections: Donna and Vince, Lauren and Vince, Ashley and Darius. She said, and he let me drive his car because my car broke. Period. Okay. Doesn't he work for a dealership or something? Child, I forgot what these people do for a living. I don't know. And I know Darius have a lot of jobs. Anyway, Dom and Bello, Ashanti and Bello. Lauren says Bello demeanor changed. She was explaining the situation. She was like, she didn't want to call out no names. When she was sitting at the table with Bello, she was talking to him. And then when somebody came, his attention deviated from her and went to the other person. So Dom piped up and was like, listen, you can say my name. Don't try to throw the rock and hide your hand. And I really don't think she was doing that, Dom. I think she said, I'm just sharing my experience. It wasn't for me to just throw you under the bus, but it was just how dismissive Bello was. And he's, again, what he said doesn't match with how he's rolling. And that's all she was saying. I don't know. I don't know what this energy is Dom have. But it seems as though Dominique gonna have the same energy on next week when it comes to Lauren. And Lauren is just gonna get down to the nitty gritty. Like, hey, are you feeling me or not? And I just don't understand why Lauren ain't see the signs unless he's saying some things behind cameras or behind closed doors that we don't know about. And that's typically what happens. Anyway, who we not feeling? Ashley not feeling Cardi. Ashley and Dom not feeling Cardi. Ashanti isn't feeling Vince. Donna isn't feeling Steven, probably because he didn't give her a succulent plant. Okay? Lauren says she had a connection with Steven. Dom was like, again, like, why did you feel like why did you feel a need to have to say anything? So Dom said, well, I didn't know she had a connection with Vince because he was alone the whole time. How would you know? Because you was all up in Bello face the whole time. I'm just saying. Lauren takes Steven out. Ashanti takes Cardi out. And Lauren feels like Steven, we need to find out who's not ready to love. So Lauren feels like Steven is playing on her top. Steven keeps saying, I'm working on it. And I'm like, sir, y'all at the end, what you gonna keep working on? There is nothing for you to work on. Either you gonna do it, you gonna piss or get off the pot. Okay? And you're not pissing. So it looks like you have to get off the pot involuntary. Okay? So Cardi is not ready to love. And Steven is not ready to love. I told y'all Cardi was going to get sent home this week. I didn't think Steven was going to get sent home. But Cardi did. I knew that. And I knew Shannon was going to get sent home. So Steven was like, I was shocked. And Lauren, she got emotional. She started crying because they was building a connection. She said they was talking on the phone probably every day for some time now. And she just felt like what we're doing on the phone, I feel like you're hiding me secretly, but you're not, you're publicly, you ain't about me. Okay? You ain't about me. Okay? And this is what the episode ended, y'all. Yeah, that's all I got. I don't know if next week is the final episode where we go to the bridge, because it seems as though next week the men gonna have to introduce the women to their families. So I don't know, people gonna be meeting families. Anyway, y'all, that's all I got. This was good. We'll come back next week to see what thus said the Lord. Okay. This is your girl Kiwan. I keep reminding you to keep showing up, keep growing, stay true to yourself, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.